Good evening and welcome to Bent TV. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, Andy McNamara is privileged to speak with Brenda Appleton about the LGBTI Task Force. She explains how it came about, the commitment that the government has made to it, and how it is interacting with various levels of government. She then explains the current initiatives the task force are involved in. Then to finish tonight, we have the final part in our Midsumma Confessional series. Tonight's question: if anything is possible, what fabulous sin would you commit in the future?
Welcome to Bent TV. I'm Andy McNamara, and tonight I have the pleasure of speaking to Brenda Appleton. Welcome, Brenda.
Thanks, Andy. Delighted to be back.
Good. You are, and we have had Brenda on a few times before.
Yes.
Let's chat about your new government role, please. Educate us.
I was appointed, I guess, back in July to a new government body, which is the LGBTI Task Force. The appointment's by the government, state government of Victoria, and it is a whole of government appointment, and it covers the LGBTI community.
Can I jump in? I just want to get everyone on the same page. Let's explain LGBTI community.
So L as in lesbian, gay.
G as in gay men, probably
yes.
implied.
B as in bisexual, T as in trans and gender diverse people, and I in intersex.
Could you explain intersex?
So intersex people are people who are born with a difference of body. It's a biological difference, not related to their gender, and therefore it's quite a different aspect in terms of gender, and it often leads to ambiguity of their own sex.
So people who are not clearly identified as male or female at birth, would
Yes.
that be correct to say?
Yes.
Some people would argue trans people are intersex, not visibly intersex, but are internally intersex in that they're born with some aspects of both genders.
And we think it's a very different thing between having ambiguity of gender and ambiguity of body.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, those of us that are born trans and gender diverse experience a different internal gender to the sex which we're assigned at birth. And whereas intersex people might change gender, but on the whole theirs is related to a physical difference rather than a feeling of gender.
Good. I'm going to take you even more off track. So the LGBTI community seems to be expanding. Bent TV, this group, our mission statement refers to diverse genders and sexualities because we want it to be as broad as possible. What are some of the other groups now turning up that have become part of this queer, bigger community?
Well, I think society's response to LGBTI people is improving, albeit too slowly, I think. And therefore, a lot more people are comfortable to be expressing themselves and being true to themselves. And therefore, most community groups are experiencing a growth in numbers and expectations. And I know within the trans and gender diverse community, Royal Children's Hospital that handles the young people, they used to get one referral a year. They're now getting more than 5 a week. And it's not because the number of gender questioning people has changed.
No.
It's very much a matter of more people feeling comfortable, more parents feeling comfortable that they can explore it. I know earlier this year we had Caitlyn Jenner come out. What was Bruce Jenner, now living as Caitlyn Jenner. There was an explosion of people for Royal Children's around that time, and it seemed to make it right for some people, whereas previously it hadn't been.
Why don't we jump now back to the main task today, the LGBTI Task Force, sponsored by the state Victorian government.
Yes,
Tell us about it.
The task force consists of 4 community members and 4 members from within, or 3 bureaucrats, Deputy Secretaries of Justice, Health and the Department of Premier and Cabinet, plus the Minister for Equality, who is Martin Foley, plus the 4 community members. And we have an ex officio member who is Ro Allen. Ro is the Commissioner for Victoria for Gender and Sexuality.
Which is a very new role recently.
Ro was appointed in June, commenced in July, and works out of the Department of Premier and Cabinet. And it's just fantastic that this government has, I guess, delivered on its promises to improve equality for LGBTI people. This whole of government task force is the first time we've had one in Victoria. Under the previous government, we had a ministerial advisory committee which just covered health, whereas this task force can get involved in all areas of government.
So can you give us a very brief overview? What's the range of things that the LGBTI Task Force are currently involved in or look to be involved in the short-term future?
So the task force is underpinned by 2 working groups. One of those working groups is a health and wellbeing working group.
Right.
And it consists of 12 community members. It's chaired by Ruth McNamara, who is also on the task force. And one of the things being looked at under that working group at the moment is the mental health.
Oh, fantastic.
The government is working on a 10-year mental health strategy.
Wow. And
the task force and working group will look at it from an LGBTI perspective.
Terrific.
One of the items that the other working group is justice, and the justice working group have been working with the government in terms of same-sex adoption, and has been very much working with it in relation to birth certificate changes. The trans, gender diverse and intersex communities would like to see changes to the birth certificate regulations, and the advisory groups and community consultation taking place at the moment to add, I guess, some depth and understanding and verification that the planned changes will meet the needs of the community. Andy, there's one other group that we've set up under the task force as well. So we've got the Justice Working Group and the Health Working Group. One of our areas of concern relates to the schools. We still have a lot of bullying and discrimination in schools. So we've set up an education reference group as well.
Right.
And Ro Allen will chair that group, and that's designed to work with the Department of Education to see whether or not we can make some further changes in the curriculum and other areas to make schools safer for our young people.
Stay with Brent TV. Brenda Appleton returns after the break.
Good evening. You are watching Bent TV. I am Andy McNamara, and tonight I am speaking to Brenda Appleton. Welcome, Brenda.
Thanks, Andy.
We are chatting about the LGBTI Task Force that you are one of the starring members of. Tell us about the work that's going on, please.
Righto. I'm the co-chair of the task force, and
fantastic.
I co-chair the task force with Minister for Equality, Martin Foley.
Wow.
The task force has been set up to help the government work through the commitments it made ahead of the election when it got elected a year ago, and to also provide advice on new initiatives that the government might announce, and I guess review those from an LGBTI perspective.
Right.
We also get asked from time to time by Minister for Equality, Martin Foley, for us to investigate particular areas the government might want to know more about from an LGBTI point of view.
So you're largely advisory with that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we're not a decision making, we don't have a budget, but we do, we're in a position to provide advice to the government. Another area that we get involved with, we've got the 2 working groups and the education reference group as well, and those groups are working on a lot of items that have been provided from the community. Some of them are brought forward from the previous Ministerial Advisory Committee, And we will be working through with various departments to finalise the work within those, and then providing recommendations to the government in terms of how they might go about addressing areas of concern from an LGBTI perspective.
Right.
We also will be consulting with the community from time to time.
Right.
So, for instance, last month in Melbourne, we had a consultation which involved about 60 people from the LGBTI community, and it was a very powerful day, I thought, in terms of the wide range of topics that were discussed.
And I was there, obviously, and the wide range of groups there. So a whole lot of LGBTI community groups all got together and put their heads together.
And as a collective, the participants agreed that the task force could take the output from the day and use that to inform the work that we're getting done through the working groups and so on. Individual working groups will from time to time be running consultations with LGBTI community. And one of the things that we're working on at the moment is to provide advice to the government on birth certificates.
Yes.
So we're actually consulting quite widely with the trans and gender diverse and intersex communities at the moment.
Right. It is fantastic for the government to set up your task force in the first place, an LGBTI task force. It obviously shows some intention to do the right thing for the queer and gender diverse community. I think the government's made a huge commitment to LGBTI. I think the appointment of Ro Allen as the Commissioner for Gender and Sexuality, the setting up of a separate Department of Equality within the Department of Premier and Cabinet, the appointment of a whole of government task force, I think these are tangible steps by the government to reduce discrimination and to as the government has said on several occasions, equality is not negotiable. Wow.
We need to be able to remove discrimination from our services, from our laws, and eventually from society.
Wow. And do you feel that society is right behind the government in this thinking and approach?
Slowly. I think we're getting progressive improvement. I think our community numbers are growing because more people are comfortable to be themselves. But I know with all the aged care training which we've done with the aged care sector over the last couple of years, a lot of LGBTI people still aren't comfortable to disclose that they are LGBTI when accessing aged care services. So things are improving, and I'm hopeful under this current government that we'll get a lot more improvement.
Wow. I've got a friend who works for one of the big banks, and internally the bank is saying 8 to 9% of the staff are LGBTI, and to admit that anywhere probably 20 years ago wouldn't have happened, and it's just a sign that they're trying to be seen like that, and maybe there's money to be made by being this way, who knows, but they're retaining staff better and staff are feeling supported. It's a moving thing, I guess.
Oh, very much so. And, we see it in the numbers of young trans and gender diverse people coming through Royal Children's Hospital. 10, 12 years ago, they were getting one referral a year. They're now getting more than 5 a week.
Wow.
So there is a big change in how society is responding to people. Many estimates say that LGBTI could be as much as 15%, so that it's a considerable percentage of our population.
Wow. Can I give you another example? My brother is on the board of a Christian school, and it's quite a Christian school in a very remote part of Queensland, and they built a new wing recently, and their architects came to them and said, but you need to have a non-gendered toilet as part of the new block. And they're like, why do we need that? And they said, well, you might have some trans kids at your school. And they went, oh, okay. And so they went with it, and they're quite proud of it now. And it was such a leap for quite a conservative school to do.
It's fantastic. We're getting an increasing number of inquiries from organisations wondering how they can be more inclusive for LGBTI. And I guess that brings up another area which has changed a lot. Within the trans and gender diverse community, we've got a significant proportion, maybe about 30 to 35%, identifying as non-binary. So from
Can you explain that to us?
These are people who neither identify as male or female.
Right.
So we're a very binary world,
Society.
male or female.
Yes.
And a lot of trans and gender diverse people don't fit into either category. So they are preferring to say we're neither male nor female, and so they don't want to transition from one to t'other. They're somewhere in between and they want to stay there. And it is so empowering for those people to be able to be themselves in this current community.
Yes.
And we need toilets to more accurately reflect their personality and their selves.
The whole discussion of non-binary hasn't even happened in the general public. That's got to come.
It's got to come. Government's struggling with it, so we've got to work it through there. We need it to be allowed for in our birth certificates, which it's not at the moment.
Yep.
So that's part of what we're working on at the moment as well.
Brenda, keep up the good work. It sounds fantastic. Please come back again and tell us more about the LGBTI Task Force. You've been watching Bent TV. We'll see you another time.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying with Bent TV. Please visit our website, Twitter, YouTube channel and Facebook to find the different ways you can support Bent TV, provide feedback and become involved in supporting Bent TV. Back after this break.
If anything is possible, what fabulous sin would you like to commit in the future?
You know, I'm going to go the whole way and just add cream to my coffee.
Well, I kind of just want to do the same. I just want to be a stripper. So
Add cream to your pole.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, I don't know. Just...
I would like to do something that would make my mother blush.
More lustful thoughts.
Remember that the goddess is always watching.
Everything again.
Clive Owen. Hugh Jackman.
Oh my.
Be all of the above. And more. And all the previous sins that you've already shown.
Probably a decent nudie run down Elizabeth Street, given half the chance, if I didn't wobble so much.
Sweetheart, darling heart, what a great thing to do. I would love to see your double Ds, your airbags, your fun bags bouncing along, darling, smacking you in the face. Do a nudie run. Let me know what it's going to be. I'm going to come and videotape it. Marvellous.
Once I broke into Joel Creasy's show by banging on the fire door until he answered the door. And I wish something might have happened behind the scenes.
Good luck, Peter, but you'll probably have more luck with Adam Richards. Heaven.
I'd love to wear leather bondage, my being smacked in the ass, just basically have everything done to me.
If any sin is possible, what sin would you like to commit in the future?
A fabulous sin I would like to commit in the future. I think I'll do the sin of sex out of wedlock with a woman. I mean, my mum would like it. I guess what's the worst thing that could happen?
You will burn in hell.
There's this really gorgeous young girl I've had my eye on. I know that she's probably not in my league, and she's probably a little bit younger than me as well, because I'm nearly 50, and she's only in her 20s. But oh my gosh, I kissed her once in the back seat of a Audi car, and now I really wish I could go all the way with her.
Oh honey, these sins are really working for me.
Sin in the future. I'd probably murder, if I was to be honest. There's a lot of people that annoy me, including the turkey. So I might start with that one.
Tell me more, bitch.
Beryl Jenkins. Beryl is the Grand Master of the CWA of Australia, and she sends rude letters. And at the AGM last year, so I had a seat I've always got, I don't know when I go on, but I've got a seat at the front every year because I'm a board member. And this year she took that seat off me, and I thought, oh, you are a rude woman.
Now, Maureen, I hear you. Don't murder her. Just poison her and then keep taking her your scones as a get well present. Everybody will love you and you'll become lifelong friends and maybe lovers.
Oh, I guess I could just do all the sins again. That would be pretty good. Living life in sin. Isn't that what we're here for? I think so, yeah.
You can't sin without the goddess knowing.
Oh God, I don't know. I've done lots of things. I really like to explore bondage, and I'd like to explore, particularly I'm turning grey now, maybe more of my 50 Shades.
Kill all the governments. Yes.
I'd like to get in a time machine and go back and have an orgy before I got married.
I would like to just completely explore myself and go out and cross-dress a little bit. It's very fun.
Carrie, now I think the art of cross-steering is a filthy, disgusting, awful, perverse thing. You would be perfect, sweetheart. Get straight onto it. I can see you now.
Yeah, I have a real desire to spend time with a straight groom on his wedding night.
Once again, what a lovely man you are. On a married woman's wedding night, you want to take away her husband and suck him off. What a friendly thing to do. In saying that, I must say, years ago, I knew this boy, and he had just got married, and then we had a play down some alley in Paran, and he lost his wedding ring. So I sort of know where you're coming from. Charles Street.
Oh. What a wonderful question. Grabbing as many people as possible and bringing them into the lifestyle of kicking, screaming and yelling full consent.
Oh, so many men and so little time.
Yeah, look, I'd like to be involved in a full-on exploitative type orgy with about 70 men at the one time and just sort of roll around on the orgy table. A bit like the old days at Steamworks, really, and the pig pen, but that's been closed down now, and the Greek Orthodox Church are running that now.
So it's the same thing?
Well, yes, it could be.
That sounds heavenly.
Have sex with that priest.
Ooh, that's more like it.
All of my crushes in one place at one time.
Don't be so greedy, darling heart. One at a time, one at a time, one at a time, stand in line. Ooh, you're a greedy little girl, aren't you?
Double fisting.
Oh, I think the goddess might need a towel.
Well, I'm a Star Trek fan, so in the future I'd like to boldly go where no man has gone before.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for watching. My name is Gavin Henderson. Please visit our website, YouTube channel, Facebook to keep in contact and support Bent TV.